Hello, and thank you for joining us today. The following footage contains the question and answer segment from our latest Lunch and Learn session, where you can learn about the most recent trends in ERP technology and Acumatica features. If you're interested in attending these sessions, please email us at contact@rubech.tech.
So, from your experiences, what are some of the common challenges businesses face during digital transformation, and how do you suggest businesses meet these challenges?
Well, some of the common challenges that businesses face are around basically they're very unstructured. I think that's one of the challenges that they'll find that they start really small, they start to grow. There's a lot of transactions to go through without the structure. And so what you will find and what that looks like is, either they have small systems, some information on spreadsheets. They have maybe a cool program over here doing inventory, and all these systems don't necessarily talk to each other. They're still putting stuff on paper. The process Ewan was describing there with accounts receivable and invoices, so manual paperwork, invoices coming in, and they're going to get physical signature to get them signed off before somebody else processes them. So that's some of the common challenges. And as transaction grows, it's hard to track all of these things. How they overcome them, I think it's by first defining the key outcomes that they want to get out of a digital transformation. So what are the key problems that they have? And then from there start to work out, what information is most useful to get out of a system or a centralized system. And I think that's half the battle solved, and then everything else in terms of the process, how they work together, will come after that.
Absolutely, well put. Here's another one in a similar vein. What sort of steps should organizations take to ready themselves for embarking on this kind of digital transformation?
That's a really good question, actually. And the one thing I want to say here, there's a lot of books out there that you're going to read books that tell you, you have to, be prepared, you have to gather requirements, you have to, know what you're doing, and it goes through all that step. But from somebody, we have over 30 years experience in this organization, and from a practical experience standpoint, the one thing I'm going to say here is, um, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And that's the first thing that I want to put out there. Um, and what that means is, effectively, every organization is different. So the first thing is knowing your people. Digital transformation is around people change, is around managing people's expectation, and it's about adopting new ways of working. And so knowing your people and knowing and defining what the problem is and getting your people on board on the journey is the first thing that I think is the most important thing to actually at being successful at digital transformation. The next thing after that is, sort of ensuring organizations need to have a champion. So who's that voice? And that person has to be somebody that's well respected, that when he speaks, he or she speaks, people respond within the organization. They need to have that champion for change. And I think after that, the next after that step is then defining 3 or 5 things that they want to get out of it. So that's what I've been talking about when I talk about business outcomes. What are those 5 things? Now, there are going to be 10, 20 things on that list, but what are the first 5? What's the must-haves? And let's tackle that first before then trying to tackle the what. I think if businesses follow these steps, there are many more, but if they follow these 3 steps that I've just described, then they'll be well on their way to preparing for any sort of digital transformation or their digital transformation journey.
Absolutely, I think that's a great way to look at it. Um, Another question here, this one might be more directed towards you, Ewan. So how often does Acumatica update their service to include new features? And what new features or enhancements in the latest versions are particularly useful for improving business processes?
Yeah, so Acumatica puts 2 new releases per annum, usually one in the spring and one in the autumn. Acumatica Payments was probably the last big feature that came out to allow you to do native payments within Acumatica without any integration. Very handy for making point of sale payments or in the field payments and also sending out invoices with payment links. That was a fantastic feature. Also, other features such they release some AI features. So there's a general ledger anomaly analysis, which basically means that through machine learning, you can analyze the last 18 months of your general ledger. And then what happens is when transactions are posted to the general ledger, anything that is seen as an outlier, whether with an account or a customer or a vendor, will be highlighted. So in practical terms, that could mean you'd be paying a cleaner or a subcontractor, say £10,000 per month, and then 1 month you pay them 100,000. Now that will be flagged up to someone within finance to say, does this look normal? So that's where that can come in. Yeah, that's about it.
Wonderful. And we have 2 more questions here. I'll ask this one first because it sort of ties into that last one. Looking forward, what kind of upcoming trends in ERP technology should businesses be aware of? And how is Acumatica preparing to meet these demands?
Yeah, I see.
Yes, I think Ewan sort of touched on that earlier. Artificial intelligence is one thing that is the technology trend, and Acumatica is very much in line or in tune with building the system to do that. One of the things that you saw in the demo here that Ewan was showing earlier was the ability to scan in invoices that you receive from your customers. And that goes in automatically into the system and is processed in the system automatically. And that takes out a whole lot of processes around, moving around paperwork around the organization. Being able to voice activate tasks for systems is something that ERP systems are leaning towards, and Acumatica is not very different from that. Being able to look at data and guess, or not guess, analyze or forecast based on trends. You put in $10,000 every month, you have a recurring payment of $10,000, and then 1 month you're making another payment of $100,000. And that's an anomaly. So being able to automatically do that, it's something that is tending towards where technology future trends are going. So AI and Acumatica is something that in the future we're going to be seeing a lot of benefits for businesses and a lot more automation as we go about our day to day. So,
Absolutely. And last one here, what type of training and ongoing support does Acumatica provide to ensure successful implementation and utilization by its users?
yeah, for training, that's one of the things where Acumatica excels with all the more than all the other ERP systems. So Acumatica has a whole training material. There's a whole community base. There's an open university that has a lot of materials around how the system works and how you do specific stuff. So when it comes to training, you have peers in your industry, companies that you can talk to. You can speak to ourselves. We could train you. We have software that basically looks over Acumatica and can write a whole lot of system training procedures on how to either do system work or your specific role within the system. So there's a lot of support and training out there as you engage, and that's one of the things that we ensure that organizations that are embarking on this journey are able to take advantage of all the training to ensure that the adoption curve is a lot more smooth, as opposed to a long road ahead. So we ease that adoption for most organizations, and Acumatica makes it a lot easier with the training it provides. So